It's really nice to get to know ya, have a Coke and show ya, round for just a while. Yeah, it's life, and everybody wants it.
The new Detroit News AM edition. Get the news good and early.
Boy, how do they write so good so early?
Please me, but I'm sure glad you changed papers.
Looking through the AM edition of the news can help you see the light.
I'm downright dazzled.
So if you're tired of starting the day the same old way, try the new AM edition of the news.
I take it you're through with the other paper?
I'll say.
The new Detroit News AM edition at newsstands at 6:30 every morning. It's the first good news of the day.
Hi, y'all. It's Gratiot Auto's birthday, and we're having a sale to celebrate. We've cut prices so you can enjoy tremendous savings on parts and accessories.
All tires and wheels mounted free. High-speed computerized balancing is also available. Hurry to Gratiot's birthday sale.
It's the biggest birthday sale we've ever had. Happy birthday, Gratiot Auto.
Save on tires, wheels, and more during Gratiot's birthday sale, going on now at all locations, including the newest in Woodhaven.
It is time now for Sid's Corner, brought to you by your Metro Detroit AMC dealers and your Metro Detroit Jeep dealers. And Sid, I think the thing that we've got to do right now is just talk a little bit about what's taking place in this hockey game. Canadians outshot Detroit 18-7 in the first period. Ron Lowe played extremely well, and Montreal led it 2-1. The Wings in Montreal on even terms in the second. Montreal out shooting Detroit 11-10. Polonich the only goal.
Well, I thought the Wings come on a lot stronger in the second period. They started carrying the play to the Canadians. They were throwing it in. They made the Canadians make a couple of mistakes. But I think the surprising thing is Ron Lowe has made big saves, and the fact that Guy Lafleur has had 2 or 3 wide open chances to put the puck in the net and has missed the net completely, and that has helped the cause an awful lot. We've got 20 minutes, Bruce. The Wings are going to have to come out. They're going to have to skate. They're going to have to try and force the play, move in and see if they can get a goal and take this back to Detroit. It's a big job to do right here in the Forum, but they're within 20 minutes. We may still get another game in Detroit.
Well, that, of course, remains to be seen, and just exactly what's going to happen in the last period, I wouldn't venture a guess. I have no idea which team is going to come out and do the skating, and very likely it'll be the both of them.
Oh, they'll both skate. After all, it's an important game. The Canadians, they don't want to go back to Detroit. After all, why travel away down to Detroit if they can avoid it by putting 20 minutes together right now? And the Wings want them to come back to Detroit.
What I was going to say is I think there's a certain amount of pride involved there, too, that the Montreal Canadiens are not supposed to lose 2 games, not even 1 to this Detroit Red Wing hockey team. Well, we'll be back with more of Sid's Corner after we pause now for this from AMC.
It was my idea, you know, getting this AMC Pacer wagon. The rear hatch and all this room sure come in handy. Smart.
Actually, the Pacer was my idea. I like the rack and pinion steering and short hood. And what a ride. Smart.
Wow, I see you got one of those great-looking wide Pacers.
Glad I suggested it. Smart.
The AMC Pacer wagon. It's big inside where it counts, and that makes its owners
smart.
Sid, I have to say this. Walking down the streets of Montreal today, I ran in no less than the president of the National Hockey League, old friend of ours, John Ziegler, and we were just talking for 10-15 minutes, I guess, there on the street corner. And I asked John, you know, how things are going and so forth. He said he's on the move all the time, but he says the one thing that he really appreciates is the fact that every place he's gone, people just talk about the Detroit Red Wings and the almost miracle season that they've had, and he says it's so great for the league itself.
Well, and he's absolutely right, Bruce. Regardless of what happens in this 20 minutes of hockey that we're going to watch soon, if the Wings were to lose it, they're certainly going out in grand style. I'm telling you, they've given the Canadians all that the Canadians want right up here in this Forum. It's hard to believe that they went home and lost 2 games, because it seems both the second game up here and, of course, the game again here tonight, they have played so well, and they have a golden opportunity to win a hockey game.
And now, of course, what Ted Lindsay and Bobby Crom will begin thinking about at the conclusion of this season, and it may not be concluded for a while, who knows, is a season coming up. And I was going over today and counting no less than 12 defensemen that I know are going to be fighting for positions when they move into camp, including some of the youngsters of Kansas City right now. It's got to be an optimistic view for the club, and also 2 first-round draft choices.
And that's a very healthy situation, Bruce, when you have 12 youngsters fighting for positions. And, of course, they're going to have some draft picks. They had 2 of Toronto's picks to come up with, and the first pick from Toronto and their own first pick, chances are they'll get another Dale McCourt or someone that can help back on defense. just looks to be start talking or thinking next year it's going to be great.
The only problem they finished too high in the standings. They're not going to get that first, second, or third choice. Well, that's it. That's Sid's Corner, brought to you by your Metro Detroit AMC dealers and your Metro Detroit Jeep dealers. The score here at the Forum in Montreal is 2-2, and we'll be ready for the start of the third period in just a moment.
Ah, the endless possibilities of Peshki meats and your imagination. Imagine a new way to enjoy that summertime standby, Peshki hot dogs. Prepare them your favorite way. Add bits of green pepper or whatever you like to your favorite kind of melted American processed cheese and pour. Your imagination makes it possible. Peshki makes it perfect.
Peshki makes it perfect, 'cause Peshki really cares.
Your small outboard hunt is finally over. You've found the Chrysler Tigers. Purr with the 4, run with the new 6 or 8, and move with the Chrysler Sailors, made specially for sailboats. Why buy a pussycat when you can unleash a Chrysler?
Wolverine Championship Harness Racing is back at DRC. For only $250, you can have an evening's fun watching the world's top horses and drivers on one of the world's fastest mile tracks. Have dinner or a snack, or just stay at the finish line and cheer them on. But don't miss the excitement of Wolverine Championship Racing at DRC. And now it's even easier to get to. Just take the new Jeffries Freeway to the Inkster or Middle Belt exit. The action starts 8 p.m. every night except Sunday. And fun, you can bet on.
Hello, I'm Fred Drendel. I'd like to tell you about our new service policies. Competitive pricing. We've lowered our service prices on all service items your car needs most often. Guaranteed prices. We quote you a guaranteed price in advance, no hidden charges. Fast, dependable service. Most repairs take about 2.5 hours. Payment convenience. We accept most all major credit cards and personal checks. We are geared to service you better at Fred Drendel Lincoln Mercury.
Getting ready for the third period from the Forum here in Montreal. The game tied at 2-2. Rajan Houle scored from Bob Gainey at just 20 seconds of the first period. The first rush down the ice by Canadians. Gainey throwing it out in front, and Houle, wide open, just skated in to beat Ron Lowe. Nedemansky tied it up with an unassisted goal as he and Libet broke in 2-on-1 at 9:40. But then it was a power play goal scored by Guy Lapointe. From Shot and Robinson as a puck came off the backboard and right out to Lapointe, who banged it in. 11:09 the time of that goal, and Montreal led 2-1 into the first period, having outshot Detroit 18-7. Dennis Polonich from Errol Thompson and Cameron at 6:40 of the second period, the only goal scored there. Now Polonich is still in the penalty box and will be for the first 45 seconds of this third period, the time remaining in his penalty call for slashing at 18:45 of the second period. New York Islanders have tied their game against Toronto Maple Leafs. It is now 1-1 in the game being played at Long Island. Dale McCord and Paul Woods, penalty killers, along with Terry Harper and Reed Larson. And the Canadians have Steve Schott and Lafleur with Lemaire at center. And Savard and Lapointe back along the blue line. Referee Wally Harris drops the puck. McCourt won the draw, and Larson fires it deep into the Montreal zone. Lapointe heading back after it. Now Lapointe being checked by Woods. Woods turned him around, and the puck went all the way back into the corner. A half a minute left in the Detroit penalty. Now Lafleur, he starts shut out down the boards on the left side. There's going to be a penalty coming up on a delayed call. Canadians are going to have a two-man advantage as Larson tipped it away. Here's McCourt playing it, and the penalty called. And with 18 seconds remaining in Polonich's penalty, it'll be Dale McCourt who now heads off.
Well, Bobby Trom is not going to like this penalty, Bruce. Dale McCourt just impeded the progress of Lafleur as he tried to break straight down center ice, and he got the stick hooked into his arm first, and then he gave him a pull, and I think Lafleur just added a little flair to it by making a little bit of a swan dive. But McCourt didn't have to do what he did at all. Woods was back over on his wing. Things were well covered. The defensemen were standing pretty well right up at the blue line. The big thing now is to see if they can get Polonich back out in the 18 seconds and then go from there and see if they can get by.
So McCord off for hooking at 27 seconds. 18 seconds remaining in Polonich's penalty. Lafleur setting up LaPointe, and it was Larson that got a stick on his shot and deflected it high up into the crowd. And now there are 13 seconds remaining in Polonich's penalty. Dennis Hextall is the only Detroit forward. Harper and Larson. And Jarvis is at one wing with, no, he's at center with Shutt on one wing. Lemaire on the other. The puck stayed right there in the circle. It came back to LaPointe. He sets up Lafleur. Lafleur handing it off to Shutt with a shot, and Lowe stopped it. Harper picks up the rebound, didn't get it out. It came back to the line. Lafleur has it there. Polonich back on, just getting into the play now. Red Wings are one man short. There's Lafleur with a shot, and Lowe deflects that over the glass and into the crowd. And a minute 34 seconds remaining in McCourt's penalty. Face-off will stay in the circle to the right side of the Detroit goal.
Lafleur just threw a puck right along the ice to the corner of the net, and Shutt had Ronnie Lowe at his mercy, and Lowe made a real fine save.
So Hextall and now Paul Woods comes out to join him. Penalties are all even at 5 aside.
Ronnie Lowe, we've always mentioned the fact that to win playoff games, you have to have great goaltending. And let me tell you, both Rutherford and Lowe have been strong causes for Detroit.
Play in the Montreal zone, but Paul Woods intercepts, clears it out to center ice. Canadians LaPointe hands it off to Savard, now to Larry Robinson. Robinson turning back at his own blue line. Montreal with actually 3 defensemen on. Lafleur cleared it over the line. Ron Lowe out of the net. Jarvis tipped it away from him, tried to center it. Hextall sent it in behind his own net. Jarvis being chased by Tommy Bergman. Here's Robinson, tried to set up Lafleur. It went in behind the net. Tommy Bergman after it. He wrapped it off the glass. LaPointe stops it at the right point. His pass deflected away by Hextall. The Wings don't get it out. It's kept in. Here's Lafleur with a shot. The save made. Puck bouncing loose, and Jarvis with a wide open net backhanded it in. Reed Larson shaken up. He's hurt out in front of the Detroit goal. Well, it just kept bouncing back.
Well, Detroit had the chances to get the puck out of the zone. A little weak attempt, really off Reed Larson's stick. I think he figured he could get it right out through the middle, and as when he went to shoot it, he didn't get too much on it. It flipped over his stick, put it right back out to the defenseman again. Jarvis was very, very lucky. He got a rebound off Ron Lowe, and he had the whole net to put it in. And Reed Larson run into Ronnie Lowe, and he was shaken up, but it was Ronnie Lowe made a terrific save on the original shot by Lafleur, but the puck bounced over to Jarvis, and he had the empty net to throw the puck in, put the Canadians ahead 3-2.
Well, LaPointe and Lafleur draw the assist. Here's a shot by Saint Laurent, knocked away on the short side by Dryden. Puck dug out by Errol Thompson. His pass skipped away. Canadians clear it down the ice. And the Wings were applying pressure. Back after it, Hamel. And they waved off the icing. Puck goes in behind the Detroit net. And it's held finally to the side of the goal by Ron Lowe. So Riseborough must have gotten there first. It was Jarvis on the power play after Woods had done everything in his power to hold them off, and it bounced right back to him. So 2 power play goals by Montreal, the difference in the hockey game. Jarvis gets his 2nd goal of the series. 1:37, which means there's a lot of time remaining.
And Ronnie Lowe was really disappointed that the puck bounced off him and went over to Jarvis when they finally threw it in the empty net. He was really mad, probably at himself and probably at his own defenseman for not getting the puck out of the zone because they had possession of it.
Right from the face-off, LaRouche sent it wide of the Detroit goal. Dennis Polonich tried to kick it to center ice, didn't do it. Gainey turned around by Giroux, and Saint Laurent starts out. A right side pass. Polonich at his own blue line, lost it, picked it up a 2nd time. Now Polonich left it right there, goes back after it, hands it to Giroux. On the left side, Al Cameron. Cameron swinging it into the Montreal zone. Robinson takes it in behind his own goal. Now Larry Robinson heading out, leading a 3-man rush for Montreal. Over the line. Larry Robinson drops it for Gainey. Gainey played it in behind the Detroit net. Giroux has it there. Played it to the corner. Saint Laurent, a rolling puck. He's going to hold it to the boards. He kicked it loose and fell down. Here's a Canadian, Savard with a shot, knocked down out in front, and Polonich picks it up. Dennis Polonich, center ice to Errol Thompson. He lost it. Canadians shoot it back into the Detroit end, and Giroux has it there. Larry Giroux, his pass went off Gainey, dug out by Polonich at the Detroit line. Now Cameron ahead to Saint Laurent. He heads into the Montreal zone, took a shot, and that's deflected by Dryden up into the crowd. So there is a pause in the action with a score, Montreal 3, Detroit 2. Will return in just a moment.
It's here, a very special beer from Labatt's. Labatt's Special Light, naturally brewed beer with 1/3 fewer calories than our regular beer. Labatt's Special Light, a very special beer brewed for lightness, refreshing, less filling beer with real Canadian beer taste. Labatt's Special Light, a very special beer.
You can see Montreal 33 shots and the Detroit Red Wings 18 as the Canadians lead the game 3-2 with 2 power play goals the difference. And a costly penalty to Dale McCourt. Now Canadians Lafleur starts out, coming out center ice with Steve Shutt. Shutt over the line, dropped it out in front. Lafleur dug it away. Hamel checked in with Billy Lahead. Wings start back. Dale McCourt. Got Woods on the move into the Montreal zone. He was checked and turned around. And the Canadians start back. Lafleur into the Detroit end. Guy Lafleur pulls up, put it out in front, and Lahead is there to take it away. He passed it now to Woods. Hamel trailing as Woods goes over the line. Paul Woods hands it to John Hamel with a shot and a save made by Dryden. Puck right out in front. And it went to the side of the open corner. The Wings came close. Now Billy Lahead digs it loose. Lahead dumped it in behind the net, but covering up was Lapointe. And they shoot it down the ice. And the Wings came within an inch or two of tying this hockey game again. Icing call against Montreal.
Everywhere but in, Bruce, they had Dryden at their mercy. Paul Woods, Billy Lahead, they all had Hamel had a terrific shot. Dryden made the save on him, and the rebound come right back out across. The whole net was empty. Just slid along the ice and missed by about 6 or 8 inches.
Face-off stays to the left of the Montreal goal. Hextall won the draw. Libet held it off the side of the circle, put it out in front. It goes to the corner. Yvan Cornway goes in after it and comes out now center ice. A long pass. Lambert digging in after it. Played it in behind the Detroit net. Cornway went in after it. Hextall covers up. Now Hextall, a pass too far for Netamansky. Robinson chases it back into his own zone. He cleared it over to Risebrough. Risebrough coming in. Here's Risebrough out in front with a shot, and Ron Lowe covers that and holds on.
A very appreciative crowd here, giving Ron Lowe a hand for a real fine save. It's because of the Canadians continually being in motion that they get so many chances. They're partially checked. The puck appears as though it's going to be out of play, but another fellow comes along and picks it up. Ron Lowe just held his ground, and the shot was dead center, right into him.
Hextall wins the draw, and Tommy Bergman goes in behind his own goal. Now played it off the boards by everybody, and that'll be an icing call against Detroit as Savard is back to play it, and they'll bring it back into the Detroit zone. 3-2, Montreal with 15 minutes and 22 seconds to go. And the 2 power play goals by Lapointe and by Jarvis, and both came off of rebounds. The face-off stays in the circle to the left of the Detroit net. Netamansky, Hextall, and Libet up front. Giroux and Cameron. Risebrough in against Hextall. He's got Cornway and Lambert with him. Here's Cornway out in front. Got the shot away, and Lowe deflected it off. The puck came right out. Lambert turned with a shot. That went off a stick wide. Back on the point now, Savard. Savard with a shot. Lowe blocked that. Libet takes it off the boards. He's hauled down. There'll be a penalty coming up to Montreal. And now the Red Wings are going to have a power play opportunity. A pause in the action. The score 3-2 Montreal. Will be back in a moment.
Little Caesar's Pizza, tastiest in town. A winner anyway, slice it all the way around.
The carry-outs are good and hot, great for nighttime snacks, or sit down at Little
Caesars. Just order and relax. If you want variety, there's a family in for you. It's a winner, come in and see Little Caesars.
Look for our ad in the news and free press TV books for a free pizza.
For your customized advertising and promotional needs, including pens, glassware, desk accessories, T-shirts, lighters, imprinted golf and sportswear, call Alex at 534-4800. Even Cornwall off for hooking at 4 minutes, 54 seconds. Now the Wings, trailing by a goal, have the extra man. They have not done well on the power plays thus far. Here's Netamansky, a right side pass to Polonich. Dennis Polonich pulls up along the boards, and he's hemmed in right there. A puck driven off of him. It bounced in behind the Montreal net. Going in after it, Saint Laurent and Jarvis. Now Lapointe and Errol Thompson. Saint Laurent put it out in front. Oh, and Polonich was there. But the puck just deflected away from him and driven out to center ice, and Dale McCourt is back after it. McCourt's pass off a Montreal stick back into the Canadian zone with Lapointe in after it. He's bumped by Saint Laurent. That puck goes underneath players. It's knocked to the opposite corner. Jarvis goes in with Dale McCourt. Still loose in the Canadian end. Here's Polonich with it. Back along the blue line. He fired it beyond Errol Thompson. And the Wings come back to their own blue line to get it. Thompson lost it to Gainey. Gainey wrapped it into the Detroit end. And now Netamansky. Ahead to Thompson. He had it tangled up in his skates. He comes out with it now to Dennis Polonich. Back to Thompson. Saint Laurent into the Montreal zone. Saint Laurent sent it back to the blue line. Dennis Hull checked there, still worked it off to the side of the Canadian net. It's loose in the corner. Lapointe lifts it to the line, and it goes down the ice. And there are 30 seconds remaining in the penalty, and the Wings have not had a shot. Dale McCourt, Dennis Hull on the left side. Now Hull has Lahead moving over the line. He drilled a shot. Oh, and Dryden just scooped that puck to hold it out. And again, they drive it by McCourt, and down the ice it goes. And if that shot, and I believe it was on the net, Dryden made some kind of a save. 10 seconds remaining in the power play. Reed Larson at center ice. Larson ahead to Paul Woods into the Montreal zone. Woods checked by Riseborough. Riseborough didn't get it out the first time. Canadians get it out. The penalty is over. Cornwall over the line into the Detroit zone. He's offside as he came out of the penalty box. So the Wings really didn't have much of a threat outside of that one shot that Dryden just did a whirl around on.
And they didn't get credit for a shot on net, Bruce. It was just probably 6 inches or so too high on the net. He just threw that big glove up, and I think he was kind of surprised he had it. He really let fly, and he just threw that glove up. It just about took his arm back back into the net.
If it wasn't, it was very close to being on goal.
I was watching the board. They never changed it at all. The Wings have had 19 shots. Canadians have had 36.
They gave Robinson another assist and took it away from Lapointe on that last goal, if you're keeping score. Guy Lafleur shoots it in. Robinson and Lafleur have a lot of points. Now McCourt's pass was off of Paul Woods. Lafleur sends Lemaire over the line. Hamel came back to intercept that. Woods tripped over his own man, Dale McCourt. Oh, they called a penalty. Here's McCourt going in. The penalty being called. And I misread it. I thought McCourt went off his own man. So a pause in the action with a score. Montreal 3, Detroit 2. We'll be back in a moment.
People who truly appreciate music appreciate the sound shops at Highland.
Well, Steve Shutt is off for tripping. 7 minutes, 24 seconds of this, the third period. Wings with another great opportunity to tie this hockey game. Face-off out over the Montreal blue line. Jarvis and Gainey penalty killers. McCourt is up front with Woods and Lahead. McCourt won the draw. Billy Lahead, though, couldn't control it. Finally, McCourt comes back to get it. Giroux is back on the point with Tommy Bergman. McCourt carries in. He hands it off to Billy Lahead right out in front, and Paul Woods just didn't get to the pass. Pretty play, but it didn't click. Now Gainey takes the pass over 2 lines offside, and they'll come back inside the Montreal line for the face-off. Gainey is chasing after the linesman Gauthier, but was very apparent.
One pass too many on that last rush in there, Bruce. It was a pretty play. McCourt, Wood tried to give it back across to Billy LaHead. Billy LaHead had the entire net. It was really, they passed the puck around so nice. McCourt looked as though he was going to shoot right when he was dead center, but then he set it off over, and it was just a play where, well, a defenseman got his stick involved in the play, too, and knocked it away before Billy LaHead could put it into the wide open side of the net.
They'll bring the face-off back inside the Montreal blue line. Jarvis in against McCourt. McCourt won the draw. Larson had to hold up to get LaHead back on side, then he fell down. Wings clear it in, but the Canadians will shoot it down the ice. It goes right to Ron Lowe. Back after it, Tommy Bergman in behind his own goal. 3-2, Montreal leads. The Wings have the extra man for 1:25. Reed Larson heading out to Paul Woods. He's flying over the Canadian line to Billy LaHead with a shot. That deflected out in front, and McCourt was there, just overskated it. Now here comes Montreal back. That's Gainey with Savard cutting in. Play broken up by Larson. Tommy Bergman turns back in his own zone. 1:05 left in the penalty. Larson into the Montreal end again. Rolled it in behind the Canadian net. Dryden went in after it. Paul Woods checking deep in the Montreal zone, but it'll be taken by Savard. He cleared it beyond Tommy Bergman, and Larson has to hustle back after it. He wrapped it off the boards to Paul Woods. Here the Wings moving out again. Woods shooting it into the Montreal zone. Dryden played it to his defenseman Savard, and Savard along the boards on the right side. Lemaire shoots it back into the Detroit end. And there are but 30 seconds remaining in the Canadian penalty, and the Wings again outside of that one play that just failed to click haven't done much. Here's a pass center ice to Netamansky over the line. He handed it off to Reed Larson. He put it right through the goal crease. Poole dumped it down the ice. Heading after it now is Lemaire into the Detroit zone, and Netamansky came in to ride him off the puck, and the play taken away by Dale McCourt. 10 seconds left in the penalty. Nick Libet had bounced off his stick. Lapointe played it to Lemaire. Penalty time, just a couple seconds remaining to Steve Shutt. Netamansky back at his own blue line. Montreal is back at full strength. Pass went beyond Larson. Canadian Steve Shutt dumped by Libet, and the play went into the Montreal end as the crowd didn't appreciate it. Now it's Lafleur turning at center ice. He played it. Netamansky will take that. Turning back toward his own blue line. He has Libet, who went off his skate. Libet turned around, dumped it right to the net, and Dryden is going to hold it there with Hextall coming in. So there is a pause in the action with a score. Canadians 3, Detroit 2. Will be back in just a moment.
How does the Bank of the Commonwealth help me? Well, I got my checking and my savings there, but more important, when I need help, they really understand me. I mean, this guy here, he's studying law, and this bum, oh, he's into medicine. I mean, every old man wants his kid to do better than he did. So, between my back and my bank, my kid's got a future. Hey, Doc, start operating.
Trying hardest to help. That's the Bank of the Commonwealth.
My son, the judge.
Here's a Sony AM/FM cassette recorder featuring drift-free FM reception, one-touch recording, extremely sensitive built-in microphone, and an automatic shutoff switch. Sony gives you the best. Back to the action. Dennis Hextall put it out in front of the Montreal net. Robinson steers it away, cleared it out center ice. Harper shot it back in. It'll be offside. They'll come back out over the Canadian line. And now just 3 seconds, less than 10 minutes to play in the third period. Montreal with 2 power play goals leads 3-2. Detroit with Hextall, Libet, and Netamansky, Harper, and Cameron. Canadians have Risebrough, Lambert, and Cornway. You haven't seen much of Mondeau in this hockey game. Puck sent all the way to Ron Lowe in the Detroit net. He played it off the boards. Libet had problems with it, but Cameron takes it. Now Cameron, a quick pass to Netamansky, one man back. That's Nyrop. Netamansky's shot deflected wide of the goal. Nyrop being chased by Netamansky. The pass went off the skate of Hextall, but Robinson moves in to cover up. Montreal moving back with Lambert. He's pinned to the boards by Harper. Puck back out center ice. Libet starts Hextall over the line. Making the check on the play was Robinson as he clears it back into the Detroit end. Al Cameron with Risebrough. Risebrough took it away from him, moving it right out in front, and Ron Lowe came in to deflect a centering pass. Good play by the Detroit goaltender. Now Harper bangs it off the boards, back out center ice. Canadians shoot it back in offside, and the play comes to the center ice zone. 9 minutes, 5 seconds still to go.
And this is one of Montreal's strongest points. When they do get a lead and the time gets to be a factor, they can really kill penalties and kill the clock. Al Cameron made a terrible play on the play with Riseborough. He stopped to body check him instead of playing the puck. Riseborough just outsmarted him, took the puck and come in, and Ron Lowe had to make a big save.
Now the play back into the Detroit zone as Larry Giroux goes after it, firing it along the boards on the right side. Savard let it come out over the line, sent it back in offside. You know, we were thanking folks, said a little while ago, who helped us all season long, and I think 3 people that we just can't ignore, the 3 little gals in the Red Wing office, Ruth, and Kathy, and Sue. There's an old friend of yours.
Oh, Henry Richard, yes, taken in the game, and what a star he was for many, many years here for the Canadians.
His hair's a lot whiter than yours.
He's using different material, I guess.
Probably worries more. Now it's Larry Giroux, deep in his own zone. The pass coming out to Saint Laurent, to Polonich. He's got Thompson on the move. Thompson sends Polonich over the line, heading toward the corner. He took a shot that deflected up into the crowd off a Montreal stick. And two, though we are not on WJR radio at this particular time, certainly, Sid, we have worked closely with, I guess, every engineer in the WJR radio station, and we have thanked them for their great help all season long, and to Bill James, Kurt Hahn, the rest of the folks at WJR. It's been a fun season for all of us.
It certainly has. You know, when the team plays well, Bruce, the season just flies by. I know that this game is not over, and I'm still hopeful that we're going to go back to Detroit.
Well, I didn't mean to be signing off the season, but we'd be negligent if we didn't mention a few folks that have made it as good as it has been. Now here's Larry Giroux back at his own blue line. He hands it off to Jean Hamel. He was checked. Here now moving over the line is Jarvis. Hamel went back to cover up on him. Gainey takes it in along the boards, back down to Lapointe. He sets up Bill Nyrop. Nyrop with a shot, a big save by Lowe. Lapointe from the blue line dumped it out in front. Jarvis deflected it to the corner. Polonich goes in after it. His pass out center ice. Errol Thompson picks it up. Dumped it into the Montreal end, but Lapointe sends it back out, and Rajan Houle moves with it. A long left side pass. Gainey went in over the line, took a shot. That went up into the crowd off the stick of Ron Lowe.
And we can't say enough about Ronnie Lowe. He's just made save after save. The shots now are a little better than doubled, 41-20.
The 3 goals scored, and the last 2 have been power play goals, and both in rebounds after he had made good plays.
That's right. The Canadians have had the best of the play, but at the same time, Detroit, when they did have opportunities, did come close.
Baseball represented Dick Williams, the manager of the Montreal Expos, in attendance.
They're up in first place, which is a surprise.
Lost today. Steve Shutt holds the play in the Detroit zone. It came back toward the line. Here's Lafleur. He tapped it out in front. Tommy Bergman broke it up. Billy Lahead couldn't control it. Canadians will start right back in. Lemaire shooting it in along behind the Detroit net. It came off the boards, and Billy Lahead just wrapped it back out center ice. Now time becomes more and more important. 7.5 minutes to play in the third period. 3-2, Montreal leads. Canadians content to shoot it in behind the Detroit goal as Tommy Bergman goes in after it. Now it's Bergman. His pass to Dale McCourt. McCourt has trouble with Lemaire, and he just slid it out center ice. Lemaire back after it. Turned around, whipped a long shot. That's stopped by Lowe. Tommy Bergman takes it. His pass picked off by Dale McCourt. McCourt now ahead to Billy Lahead, to Paul Woods over the line. Woods a backhand shot, and Dryden got just a piece of it and deflected it away. Now Lafleur right back down as Woods made a great attempt. Play comes back out center ice. Larry Robinson bringing it back in. Played it in behind the Detroit goal. Tommy Bergman goes back after it. Over on the left side, Lambert took it away. Woods checking him. Lambert took a bump from Tommy Bergman. Woods takes the puck to the boards. He's going to hold it there. He's kicking away at it. Still no whistle. And finally Canadians pick it up, and Larson knocked it down in front of the Detroit goal. Reed Larson coming out center ice. He's on the move. He was checked going into the Canadian end. Montreal shooting it back out center ice. Tommy Bergman laid it to Larson again. He went right around Larry Robinson, but coming back, Riseborough checked. Play goes into the corner along the boards. Libet had it come back to Jean Hamel. He fired a shot. Robinson knocks it down. Canadians turn out. Here's a long right side pass. Riseborough dropping it off for Robinson. Back to Riseborough. He tried to slide it through, and Reed Larson down on the ice has that puck under his pads. So a pause in the action. The score, Canadians 3, Red Wings 2. We'll be back in just a moment.
Little Caesar's Pizza. Nobody loves it like a kid on 2 weeks. Nobody loves it like Little Caesar's Pizza. Nobody loves it like my favorite treat. Nobody loves it like I do, like I do. Little Caesar's Pizza.
Look for our ad in the news and Free Press TV books for a free pizza.
Difference in the game, 2 power play goals by the Canadians. They lead Detroit 3-2. Face off to the right of the Red Wing goal. Puck bounced out in front of the net, sent back to the corner. Lambert played it out in front of the goal again, but it's knocked down by Libet. He heads in behind Ron Lowe, cleared it out on the right side to Netamansky. Back to Libet. Libet gives chase to it at center ice, but Lapointe sent it back into the Detroit end. John Amell starts Hextall out. Hextall, his move away from Lambert into the Montreal zone. Went to the corner with it, tried to play it back on the line, but that skipped back out center ice, and Amell had to hurry back to beat Cornway to it. Amell played it back out center ice, and Guy Lapointe just lifts it up, dumps it back into the Detroit zone with 5.5 minutes to play in the 3rd period. Terry Harper's pass, picked off by Libet, he and Hextall. Libet to the line, took the shot, Dryden juggled it, but held on. And the play will stay now in the Montreal zone.
Nicky Libet got all the lumber on that one, and Dryden did juggle it. Took a pass from Hextall, and just after he crossed the line, he really let fly. It's pretty tough to score from that distance, but when you catch it real good, the goaltenders have to be really quick.
Well, Selesky has scored for the Philadelphia Flyers. They're out in front of Buffalo 4-1. And Buffalo may well be eliminated tonight. Now here's Dennis Polonich off to the side of the Canadian goal. Sent it into the corner, went in after it, back on the line to Tommy Bergman with a shot. That's knocked down out in front. Errol Thompson and Lapointe take it in along the boards. The puck came loose. A whistle had stopped the play. And the face-off will be to the right of the Montreal goal. And the puck had just come loose. San Laurent, Polonich, and Errol Thompson, a little more than 5 minutes to go. Serge Savard over along the Montreal bench looks on. San Laurent goes in against Jarvis. Jean Houle and Polonich both moved in. They do a little jabbing at each other. Puck driven into the corner. Guy Lapointe swings it along the boards. Reed Larson couldn't get to it. Now he does it center ice, hands it to Polonich, and now Tommy Bergman. Larson. Now Larson wound up from center ice, fired it off the boards. Canadians will play it. Puck bounces back out center ice. Polonich has it there for Detroit, swings it right back in. In behind his own goal, Kenny Dryden leaves it there for Nyrop. He played it to Rajan Houle. At center ice, Larson takes it again. Now to San Laurent, cutting back into the Canadian zone. San Laurent fell down. The Canadians start out with Gainey. He's slowed up by Reed Larson. Puck sliding into the Detroit end. Errol Thompson back after it, handing it off to Larson. Now Larson with Thompson on the left side. Larson lost it, and covering up Tommy Bergman. San Laurent heads over the Canadian line. He fired a shot. Dryden stops that. Guy Lapointe heads back. Now Lapointe hands it off to Houle. It goes into the Detroit zone. And in behind his own net, Al Cameron. Ahead to Billy Lahead. Now back to Paul Woods. Woods charges over the Canadian line. Faked the shot. Knocked down. It came back to Lahead with a puck right on the goal mouth. And cleared to the corner, but it had been whistled down. That puck was gloved ahead by a Detroit player. So a pause in the action with a score 3-2 Montreal, and we'll be back in just a moment.
No matter what kind of car you buy, no matter where you buy it, nobody can give you more effective rust-proofing than Polyguard, the rust-proofing system from Polyoleum, with a positive 5-year limited repair or replace warranty with no mileage restriction. When you want a new car, see your car dealer. When you want professional rust-proofing, see your Polyoleum professional. Better than all the rust. Check the yellow pages for the Polyoleum dealer nearest you.
Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel with you from here at the Forum in Montreal. 3 minutes, 55 seconds to play in the 3rd period. Montreal leading Detroit 3-2. And the Wings need a goal to continue play. Now Paul Woods takes a slap at the puck. It ends up in the crowd. Face-off will stay inside the Montreal blue line, the rim of the circle off to the right of Ken Dryden. Montreal at this stage of the game with 42 shots at Ron Lowe, and the Wings have returned 22 at Ken Dryden.
And Bruce, let me tell you, this young upstart Wing team has given Montreal all they want. This game is still up for grabs.
Puck went all the way to the Montreal goal, going in behind his own net. Larry Robinson trying to pull away from the head. He does, comes out center ice. Played it too far for Riseborough. Heading back after it, Riseborough beat his man to it. They go in along the boards and hold it for a face-off, this time to the left of the Detroit net with now 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Still to be played in the third period. From the Detroit bench, Tommy Bergman and Reed Larson come out. Now the Canadians know they've been in a hockey game tonight, come what may. Wings playing without the services of Greg Jolly, and they have missed him. Late change from the Montreal bench as they send on Lapointe. Joel Nyrop. It'll be Dale McCord in against Riseborough. Puck came back to the line. Lapointe keeps it in. Here's Lambert going after it. Checked by Larson. Reed Larson turning out. Now Larson on the move, down the boards on the left side. He got it to the line. Lambert had him all tied up, and the Canadians sweep it back out center ice. Back after it, Paul Woods. Cornway chasing him, knocked him to the ice. They still battle after it. Billy Lahead has McCord over the line. Dale McCord took a backhand shot, didn't get anything on it. It was deflected away by Lapointe, and then Lapointe shot it up into the crowd. So the face-off stays where the Red Wings want it, deep in the Montreal zone to the left side of Kenny Dryden. One little break along the way here would have this hockey game tied.
And it may still happen, Bruce.
Pacing back there way up in the press area, the catwalk, Pierre Bouchard, who is sitting this hockey game out. Canadians don't play players just because they've got too many.
Two of the fastest skating hockey players, Cornway and Paul Woods, going for a loose puck.
Now the play stays in the Montreal end. Libet took a kick at it. It rolled to the side of the goal. Nyrop picks it up. He's checked by Netamatsky, who took it away. Tommy Bergman fired a shot. It was blocked and didn't get through, and then the Wings shoot it back in offside. Face-off out over the Montreal blue line. Mario Tremblay not in uniform for this hockey game, as Canadians have a great deal of backup talent.
Buffalo have scored to make that score 4-2 now in the third period in Philadelphia.
Derek Smith got the goal for Buffalo, trying to stave off elimination. Tommy Bergman back in his own zone. Now Nick Libet moves out. Here's Libet. He played it ahead, fired it off to the side of the Montreal goal. Canadians Nyrop going back after it, watched by Hextall. Houle didn't get it out. Tommy Bergman stopped him. Bergman got to the rolling puck, picking it up though is Gainey. Here's Gainey coming back down the ice with Jarvis. Gainey into the Detroit zone. He dropped the pass. Nyrop picks it up. He fired it. And he scores! That may have gone off of Jarvis. At any rate, it may well wrap up the season. It's 4-2.
Well, that was just a bad break. The puck did hit Jarvis, I'm pretty sure. Jarvis was just cutting across in front of the net. And the entire Canadian bench empties. Gainey makes a dive for the center of the ice, and then he just shoots one right along. Gives it back to the point man to shoot it. Nyrop. It may have hit a Detroit player, too. Larson coming across. It appears as though it hit a player out in front of Ron Lowe. He had never had a chance at all. Gainey went right out to the center part of the ice, dropped the puck for Nyrop right at the blue line, and Nyrop just takes a simple shot in. And it hit somebody. Jarvis did hit Jarvis out in front of the net. Bounced into the corner. And that probably does right finish to the great season for the Wings. And let me tell you, they've really put up a battle here today.
That wasn't much of a play, actually. Jarvis is just cutting out in front of the net, and it bounced in off of him. So Nyrop and Gainey draw the assists. Now Hamel, a quick pass to Errol Thompson. Thompson hands it off to Saint Laurent, and his return pass ended up in the crowd. We have 2 minutes and 5 seconds to play. So the Canadians with a power play goal at 1:37, and then Jarvis, who scored the power play goal, gets this one. I don't know, but what the puck didn't go off his stick. I think it went more off the body.
Right, I think it went off his leg or his knee.
Now Harper played it back in. Saint Laurent takes it, and it's whistled down offside. Kind of a late whistle, and the play comes back out over the line with exactly 2 minutes to go here in the third period. And now perhaps in the season for Detroit Red Wings.
And what a season it has been, Bruce. And I want to thank you for putting up with me all season long. I've really enjoyed it.
It has been some kind of fun, Sid, learning the game from him.
Oh.
Play goes back into the Red Wing zone. Terry Harper circling in behind Ron Lowe. Now Harper played it out on the right side. Here's Polonich with it. Dennis Polonich tried to work around Robinson. Robinson stopped him. Harper picked it up, but Thompson was in over the blue line. It's offside. And they'll come back out over the Canadian blue line. Well, my watch shows it to be about 10 minutes 37, or I'm sorry, 10:37 right now. And I would guess it'll be 11:30 before the Wings get away from here, another half an hour or so out to the airport. And it'll be in the neighborhood of 2 o'clock when the Red Wings arrive back at City Airport in Detroit with their final trip of the year and their final game of the year in history. But it'll go down in the records as perhaps a surprise team of the National Hockey League. Now it's Cournoyer playing it back to the Detroit blue line. Hamel was checked there by Riseborough. Terry Harper swings it back out, not out. Lambert kept it in, played it back to Cournoyer. He sent it into the corner. Riseborough in after it. Played it right to the net. Lowe knocked that away. Riseborough has it again. Here's Doug Riseborough. Hamel blocked his shot. Hamel and Riseborough go into the boards. Polonich gets into it. He and Lambert. They jam it into the corner. Still no whistle, and Cournoyer went in. He didn't dig it loose. Cournoyer broke his stick. Riseborough with it. He fired it out in front. It'll be taken now by Polonich. A minute to play. Here's Polonich over the line. And the play broken up. Canadians come back. They shoot it to the open wing. Cournoyer digging after it. Picks it up. Cournoyer trying to work around Hamel. Hamel bumped him to the boards. Back of the net. Harper tipped it into the corner for Dennis Polonich. 40 seconds to go. And the pass comes out center ice. Canadians play it there with Nyrop. Now Bill Nyrop clearing it back deep into the Detroit zone. Ron Lowe fired it off the boards. Gainey. He was checked by Hamel. Puck stays in the Detroit zone. Billy Lahed tied up Houle in behind his own goal. Ron Lowe, there's a broken stick back there. 20 seconds. Now Harper. Harper just dumped it down the ice again and back after it. Guy Lapointe, 15 seconds. And this hockey game will be over. Jean Hamel back in his own zone. Now it's Harper ahead to McCourt. Dale McCourt into the Montreal zone. He took a backhander. Dryden stops that, sweeps it away. Lahed fired the shot as the siren goes to end the hockey game, end the series. And for the Detroit Red Wings, the 1977-78 National Hockey League season. And the Wings to a man. I wish we were looking at the other end, because to a man, they're out congratulating Ron Woods, and well, they should. And now the two teams will meet at center ice with shaking of hands. Bobby Crum walking across the ice, heading over to greet Scotty Morrison at the Montreal bench. And the cameraman there taking pictures. And Bobby's done a whale of a job. You see him at the top of the picture as he heads back now.
This is what I like about Stanley Cup hockey. You have a real battle all the way, 5 games, and then see the players do this, line up and shake hands. And Bobby Crum joined his team, shaking hands with all the Montreal players now after coming back from congratulating Scotty Bowman.
And they shake hands now, the players at center ice. The Red Wings, who have gone a great deal farther than anybody thought they would, and here after 2 periods of play had fought Montreal tooth and nail to a 2-2 tie. And the bounce of the puck on the power play goal scored by Jarvis really turned it around, and then the Jarvis deflection gave Montreal their 4-2 victory. But in the third period, Canadians outshot Detroit 15-6. And there's a look at Bobby Crum as he comes back. He's my coach of the year, Sid. He's your coach of the year. He should be everybody's.
He should be everybody's. He's just done a tremendous job with this hockey club.
So that's it, the end of the game with a final score. Montreal Canadiens 4, the Detroit Red Wings 2. We'll be back to the Forum in just a moment.
Colgate's life to memories of the good old days. Looking back, we realize we've changed in so many ways. Of the good old days. We may never recapture the way we were then, but the warm, loving feelings can come back again when we sit and recall all the good times coquettes like.
Little Caesar's Pizza, tastiest in town. A winner and we slice it all the way around. The carry-outs are good and hot, great for nighttime snacks. Or sit down at Little Caesar's, just order and relax. If you want variety, there's a family in for you. It's a winner, come in and see Little Caesar's.
Look for our ad in the news and free press TV books for a free pizza.
What is it about the owners of the AMC Pacer wagon that sets them apart?
My Pacer really makes heads turn. Plus, inside there's room you'd expect in a bigger car. Smart.
Rack and pinion steering, wide track, both in my Pacer wagon. Smart.
The short hood makes parking a snap. And I love the rear hatch and all the room in my wide Pacer. Smart.
The AMC Pacer wagon. It's big inside where it counts, and that makes its owners
Smart.
Labatt's introduces a bright new light. Labatt's Special Light, naturally brewed beer with 1/3 fewer calories than our regular beer. Labatt's Special Light, a very special beer brewed for lightness, refreshing, less filling beer with real Canadian beer taste. Labatt's Special Light, a very special beer.
The new Detroit News AM edition. Open wide and say ah.
Ooh, now that's news.
Hey. Looking through the AM edition of the news can help you see the light.
I'm downright dazzled.
It'll open your eyes and get you up for the day.
Gee, the other paper never did this for me.
The new Detroit News AM edition at newsstands at 6:30 every morning. It's the first good news of the day.
Hey, you really ought to try this.
And so it is finished to a hockey season that's been quite a season for the Detroit Red Wings, who were not supposed to make the playoffs, let alone finish up in second place in the Norris Division, who were not supposed to get by Atlanta Flames but did so in 2 games, who were not supposed to beat the Montreal Canadiens any games at all but did so right here at the Forum. And by golly doggone near did it again here this evening, Sid.
Bruce, they just put their hearts and soul in every minute they were out there. They worked all night long. It was a tremendous effort by them, but the Canadians have too much power. They just keep coming after you, and eventually scored the goals. It was the case where Ronnie Lowe held the Wings in pretty well all night long.
Well, the Red Wings, as we mentioned, will be on their way home by charter flight tonight into Detroit City Airport, I'd say in the neighborhood of 2 o'clock in the morning. And then I guess there'll be some deep sighs and then the facing of a little golf in the summer. But you know that in the minds, the heads of Bobby Crom and Ted Lindsay and a few others around Olympia Stadium, the thoughts are already turning to next October, matter of fact, September, when the start of the Red Wing training season for 1978-79 season will be coming along, and I look forward to another fun-filled year.
I just hope we're around to do it, Bruce. You know, Bobby Crom and Ted Lindsay have a lot of work to do because they'll be going to the Memorial Cup Junior Finals and trying to make their selection as the best junior hockey player in Canada.
Sid, again, as we mentioned very briefly during the course of our play-by-play in that second period, I want to thank you for all the fun that we've had. I guess, like they always say, on and off the ice this season. You've made it a great pleasure for me, as have the Red Wings, and you've taught me a lot about this game, as you have through the years, too.
Bruce, thanks ever so much. You've made it so nice for me, really. You've given me the openings to be able to get in and say things. And Marvin, I've got to say thanks to Marvin Muse. He's been terrific with us all year long.
Well, we've pulled him through on a few occasions.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, that takes care of the 1977-78 National Hockey League season. The final score here at the Forum, the Montreal Canadiens 4 and the Detroit Red Wings 2. So in this, our final telecast and broadcast of the 1977-78 season, we'd like to thank and acknowledge the following who have helped bring you these broadcasts. Our secretarial staff of Ruth Hoffman, Kathy Best, and Susie Korsick. TV sales manager Terry Murphy and his assistant Chris Jacobs, Pat Gilbert, along with WXON TV staff members Marty Johnson, Trip Craniac, and Dick Marcero, Chris Allen, Walt Rodman, and Veronica Kinney. So, until next season, this is Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel saying thanks for joining us this year and good night from the Forum in Montreal.
Detroit Red Wing Hockey is brought to you in part by Labatt's. For beer at its finest, call for Labatt's, Canada's #1 beer. And by your Metro Detroit AMC dealers, the only place you can buy Concord, the all-new luxury compact. And by Little Caesars, a winner any way you slice it. And by Bank of the Commonwealth, trying hardest to help.
Red Wing Hockey has been sponsored by the Detroit Hockey Club Incorporated and the National Hockey League. Done.